Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. This is so exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to 2025. I have so many things on this channel that I'm just desperately trying to get done. I'm at the moment, I'm waiting for my watch hours to go up. Once they've reached the 4,000 mark, oh, I have so many things ready and so many things planned. I've got loads of things kind of in the mix that I'm so excited to be bringing forward this year. So many goals, so many aspirations. There's something so exciting to me about a new fresh year. It's a new chance to just try and achieve your goals and try and achieve. It's like a fresh start, a fresh beginning, regardless of whether you've smashed it last year or maybe last year wasn't the best year you've ever had. This is a new year, a new day, and we are ready for 2025. In this episode, though, I'm going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, maybe a few ways to help manage your New Year's resolutions, how to keep to your New Year's resolutions, and just taking a second to kind of look at taking pressure off yourself in this next year. So let's get ready, let's get on with it, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness, from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in. So this year for me, I have only got a couple of New Year's resolutions. I am very good at kind of throwing a load at myself, writing them all down, and I'm fairly good at achieving what I set out to do. But I think this year I have so many goals, so many things with this channel that I want to do, that instead of kind of focusing massively on these New Year's resolutions and forward, like trying to progress myself, I'm focusing on like quality over quantity, and I think that's quite a good way to go forward in the new year. Don't worry necessarily about how many New Year's resolutions you've got, maybe focusing on the quality of the New Year's resolutions. So this year for me, my first goal is to reach 4,000 watch hours on my YouTube channel. So if you are watching this video or listening to this podcast, watching any of my other YouTube videos, massively helps me out so much. It helps me to reach that goal. So thank you if you are. It's a good year. I think this year is going to be amazing. I have lots of like positive. I'm like looking forward to the year ahead. I'm like raring to go. And I think that's a good way of kind of getting yourself into the groove. Whenever I kind of get my ideas and of what I want out of the new year, I tend to like pile loads of different ones on. So this year, what I've done is I've thought of all the different resolutions that I want to do, and I have written them all down, but I've written them in order of like priority. So if they don't get done this year, it will be a next year thing. So, for example, I've got to say, over the past 6 months, I have not been working out in the gym as much as I used to, and I would like to get back into it. I also have a couple of books that I want to read. I want to learn more about Indian history. I'm in the process, like the very beginning of learning some Hindi. And of course, if you know me in person, and a lot of my clients who I see and my yogi students know that I have been learning Italian for quite a few years. Again, taking a bit of a backseat to that, and I'd like to bring that into this next year. This year, I want to be thinking about progressing my mind, progressing my career, and like progressing my knowledge. So 2025, the year of knowledge, the year of experience. I'd like to do a bit of traveling. So this is what I mean, like I'm very good at just like piling all of these different things onto myself of I want to achieve this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So this year I have that kind of written down, and then I'm going for what is the most important things to me. So honestly, right now, my YouTube channel is the most important thing. Actually being able to make money from each view is a big part of, that's why I wanted to do YouTube, so that people have access to this channel and learning yoga for free, and they get all the tools that they need, but I actually can earn a living from it. So that's kind of my main one. And then stepping back. So I think it's a good way of approaching your New Year's resolutions is maybe having quite a few, or just having like a brainstorm of what you'd like to do or see or be, and then stepping back. And that is another thing that I tend to do as well, is I often try and like think about or visualize what my year is going to be in a year's time. So last year, I actually think I smashed it this year, even though I might have not reached exactly where I wanted to be. Um, I kind of reset my goals in after 6 months. So I can't be too disheartened, because my goal was to reach 1,000 subscribers by the new year, by December, and I smashed that by July, which I'm so grateful and so thankful for. So everyone who did subscribe this past year, thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And so then I ended up, because I'd kind of hit that goal, I was like, right, what's next? And then it was like the 3,000 watch hours mark. And I have actually hit that, which was amazing. And then it was like, right, 4,000 by Christmas, which I haven't quite reached. But last year, when I was visualizing where I'd be now, and I think this is important to do and to write down, because it makes you realize. So I had almost forgotten that I had twice changed my goalposts to further them because I'd achieved my goals. And then I sit here now and I'm like, well, I haven't done what I wanted to do. But because I know and I visualized last year and I wrote down what I wanted to achieve last year, um, I've done it. Like, I can see that I have done it. The other thing I wanted to do was earn £1 from YouTube this year. And I have earned £20 this year from YouTube, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. This is my first year of doing YouTube. And these are the goals that I set. And I tried to set really achievable goals, and actually I did smash them. So when you're coming into this new year, think realistic, achievable goals, set a priority list if you've got more than one, and visualize, like write down where you would like to see yourself this time next year, and remembering what you have right now and what you would like to be able to do, achieve, learn by the next year. So when you get there next year, you can go, oh God, I actually did it. Because a year goes by, although people say it goes quick, so much happens that you forget exactly where you were last year. Like, a lot can happen in a year, and it feels like everything goes at a glacial pace, but it's like making a marble statue. You just have to keep chipping away at what your goal is, and in a year's time you'll see such a huge progression. That's like my top tip for trying to actually achieve your goals, is to visualize it and to achieve or choose achievable goals, things that are attainable. Like, they might be a big leap forward in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, like, I was almost definitely sure that I would have made 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year, because I think at the beginning of last year I was at 500, so I knew that I it wasn't a completely unattainable goal. But I knew that it meant that I didn't have pressure on myself, but it was something that I was working towards. And hence why I ended up achieving it a lot quicker than by the new year, was because I'd made it achievable. And then you get that added bonus of halfway through the year, if you do reach your goal earlier than expected, you can move that goalpost and you're like, oh my God, I've done more than what I predicted. But again, writing that visualization down, you remember where you were, rather than forgetting and thinking, well, I haven't reached my goal. But that's because you set that goal 3 months ago or 6 months ago rather than a year ago. Another thing I like to do as well is actually break the year down. So you have, like, if you've got one big goal, you separate it into 12 mini goals. So if your goal is maybe a bit more unattainable, you've then got these mini goals to reach it. So, of a New Year's Eve, my kind of tradition, whether it's New Year's Eve or whether it's New Year's Day, I always like to sit and just like reflect on the past year and look at what I want in the future. I actually write it in a notebook, But what I'm going to do is create the pages that I would normally do and see if I can make them as Word documents, and then put them as a link at the end of this video. So if you guys want to, you can then have a look at like how I do it, and like what how I achieve my goals, and like what I write down at the beginning of the year. You guys can print that off, and then you can fill it in yourself, keep it all the way through the year, and then you can have a look at the end of the year. So I will get that kind of written up. You can either keep it as a Word document, you can print it out, have it there, put it on the fridge, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna create that for you guys, and then you can kind of follow that link, find it, and yeah, either print it and fill it in, or yeah, fill it out and have it there. And then you know exactly like what I do. And this has actually worked for me for the past maybe 5 years, just keeping attainable goals and prioritizing if I've got more than one, and then kind of yeah, visualizing and creating mini goals. I really enjoy a new year. I really, really do. I just think it's such a nice way of putting the last year behind you, regardless of what's going on, and just try and focus on yourself. There's not many holidays where you actually get to be a little bit selfish. You know, Easter, we're thinking about Jesus and others, and like you often, like for me, I'm thinking about buying Easter eggs for other people, for the littlies in my family, like buying them Easter eggs, creating like chocolate things. Christmas is obviously, you know, you're often giving lots of Christmas gifts. And like if you're religious, praying, going to church, you're giving a lot of time and effort to like your religion, to your family. um Birthdays are the same. I feel like there's a lot of holidays where it's very focused on everything else, and this is why I really do love this, like the new year, because it is a time where you can just totally focus in on what you're doing. Another thing I like to do as well is, I'm so sad. I would love to be one of these people that would go out of a like on New Year's Eve and go and get drunk and like party the night away. I'm not really one of those people. I'm one of those people that thinks it's a lot better than it is, and then when I actually come to it, it's not as fun as I think it's going to be. And I am so sad, but my favorite thing to do is to completely blitz my house. When I was living at home, I used to blitz my bedroom and just make it like spotlessly tidy. And then I start the new year with a completely clean house. So I do like my spring clean on New Year's Eve. I'm so sad, but it works. Like I wake up New Year's Day without a hangover, a totally clear house. I tend to get up and like I have like a really nutritious breakfast. I'm like, right, let's start the year on a high. I'll go out. I often go to the beach. I love to like dress up and get like all warm and cozy, and I'll normally make like some sort of little picnic to have on the beach, even though it's bloody freezing. But I just love it. Like I'm getting out in fresh air, and then yeah, my house is clean and clear, my mind is clean and clear, and I can just sit down, focus on the year ahead, focus on what I want to achieve this year. And it's kind of like my little tradition and my time each year for myself, and setting me on the right track for the rest of the year. I think it's important to kind of give yourself that space, that time, that energy to actually improve on yourself, because life goes by so quickly that you don't get those. It's very rare that you get time where you can actually like nobody works on New Year's Day. Nobody works, well, most people don't work on New Year's Day. So you've got a whole day where you can just totally focus on yourself, what your goals are, where you want to be, what you'd like to achieve. And for someone who's very like motivated, goal driven, and loves dreaming, this is like the best day of the year for me. It absolutely is. One thing that I do think is really important to remember though, when you are planning your new year and your goals and things like that you've got set ahead of you, you really cannot predict what's going to happen in that year. Like awful things could happen, amazing things could happen. Life has such a crazy way of throwing you into a completely different direction than you ever expected. And I actually think one of the keys to success in achieving your goals in the new year is not to fixate on them. As hard as that can be, it's finding that balance between continually chipping away at what you want to achieve, versus not kind of spending your entire life worrying about it. For example, if you lose somebody that's very close to you, that could really change the course of your year. Maybe your job is going to change. Maybe, you might get laid off, but it could always set you in a completely different direction. You might wake up one day and the goals that you've set are no longer the right goals for you, and that's okay as well. So I think it is important that to remember that you are only a human being. So many people do fixate on New Year's resolutions and achieving them, and I mean, in all honesty, when you get to New Year, right, who has anybody ever turned around to you and gone, did you achieve your New Year's resolutions for last year? Because I don't think anybody has ever actually said that to me. I always get asked, have you got any New Year's resolutions? But I've never been asked at the end of the year, did you achieve any of your New Year's resolutions? Which I find really strange, that people are so fixated on creating these New Year's resolutions, but they never actually expect you to go through with it all the way, which I do just find that a really weird. I don't know, I find that really strange. I might be the only person, maybe other people have been asked if they've achieved their New Year's resolutions, but it's not like a final exam. It's not like something that you really need to be held accountable for. It's for you. This day, these New Year's resolutions are for you. And they shouldn't be things that will make other people happy. They should be things that make you happy. This time is an amazing time because it gives you the opportunity to be selfish, to kind of think about yourself, to think about what you want, where your life is going, and where you would like it to go. And then to maybe come up with some different ideas or different ways to make that achievable in your next year. That's what I take from New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. It's kind of saying goodbye to the old year, regardless of how it's gone, whether you're happy it's over or whether you kind of wish it would go on just a little bit more. And then it's about looking at your life, what is making you happy, what is working for you, and what isn't so much anymore. They should be things that you look forward to every day, potentially chipping away at and doing, whether it's like reading a book, learning a new language, doing something for your career. It should be something small that you can do every single day and you kind of know wholeheartedly that you're going to enjoy doing every day, especially if it's like an extra activity like reading a book or learning a language. It should be something that you want to do, and something that you know that in a year's time it's not just a fad, and it's in a year's time you're going to go, oh yeah, well, can't be bothered. Like, for example, when people go, oh, I'm not going to drink for the rest of the year. And if they don't have a drinking problem, but they enjoy drinking, I just think that's an unrealistic goal. That's just silly, because of course you're going to end up going back to it, because you're expecting to not do something that you've enjoyed doing, provided you've been doing it safely, like, maybe having the odd glass of wine of a week or of a weekend and with your dinner, things like that. I'm not talking like excessively partying and drinking like 2 or 3 bottles of wine a day or anything like that. I'm talking like actual, like, modest drinking. And then you go, no, that's it, I'm not going to do it at all anymore, I'm done. It's just not going to work. You need to be like, okay, well, instead of maybe having 4 glasses of wine over a weekend, I'm going to choose one meal, one dinner each week. And that's going to be my goal, is that I have my 1 glass of wine with my dinner that week. And it's so much more achievable. And it means that you're not completely going without, but it's finding that moderation. And this is how people fall off the wagon with their New Year's resolutions, because they set their goals too high. They set them unattainably high. And then they get sad when things go wrong. And that's the other thing to remember as well, is that, if it's a diet thing or an exercise thing, you are only a human being, and it's unrealistic to expect somebody, for example, if you go, right, that's it, I'm not having any sugar, any carbs, I'm only going to eat, ridiculously healthy from now until next year. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? That's just unrealistic. But changing that to be like, I'm going to eat more mindfully. I'm going to try and have 5 portions of fruit and vegetables, or 10 portions of fruit and vegetables every day. I'm going to try and drink more water. I'd like to go out for a walk 3 times a week. These are smaller, more achievable goals that will make a bigger impact in the future, because that's what you want. You want to have a look at where you are in a year's time and go, in a year's time, you want to be able to look back and go, yeah, it's normal for me to, I don't know, do this every week, and I've kind of added this in. And like I said before, if you get 6 months in and trying to add 10 pieces of fruit and veg to your diet every day, drinking water, and maybe going for a walk 3 times a week, if that's working for you, you can then up it and go, okay, now I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say, right, I'm not going to have any, I don't know, chocolate for however many months. Like, you can then add on, or okay, maybe I'm going to start adding a swimming session or a spin class once a week. This is what I mean. They're small attainable goals that are reachable. They're not going to make you miserable. We don't want to spend this year being miserable. We want to be happy, balanced, doing the right things for you that make you happy and make your life more successful and happier. So if you fall off the wagon, if you slip up, if something happens in this next year and it means that all of these goals go out of the window, don't be upset with yourself. These things do happen. Life, like I said, has such a weird way of completely changing all of this. Like, I'm saying this now and I've got my New Year's resolutions, but I can't guarantee that in a year's time I'm not going to be a completely different person because something big happens and completely changes my life. Who knows? I might wake up one day and go, nope, I'm done with everything. I'm going to move to, I don't know, Madagascar and live in a cave. And I'm not going to have any contact with anyone ever. Who knows? You never know. Just being kind to yourself. That's what the whole point of New Year's Day is to look at your life and look at how you can make it better for you. I really hope you enjoyed this video or this podcast episode. And I hope it's kind of made you, if you're maybe not looking forward to 2025, I hope it's made you feel a little bit more excited for it. There's some amazing things coming. Another thing you can do, I'm now adding on, but instead of writing like New Year's Day or New Year goals and resolutions, think of like things that you're looking forward to as well. So some years I'll do like every month I'll think of something I'm looking forward to. For example, I know that in January I've got a spa day coming up, which I'm looking forward to. February is Valentine's weekend, so I'm looking forward to celebrating Valentine's. March, I might be going on a yoga retreat. Like, all these little things will add up to make you more excited, so you've got things to look forward to as well in the year. Like I said, I will make a document that you guys can download, or follow the link in the description of this podcast episode, and then you guys can follow along. You can create your own wishes for 2025, and hopefully my little kind of link and this Word document will help you to achieve like I have for the past few years. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. In fact, you know what? If you have gotten a good New Year's resolution, pop it in the comments. I want to hear all about what your plans are for 2025. And yeah, let's make this year an amazing year, regardless of what is going on. Let's make this the best year yet. So many amazing things coming. Let's dream big and make those things happen. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks. Bye.